Nearly 6 decades after his first appearance on screen, James Brolin remains one of Hollywood's most quietly enduring figures. His career has unfolded without scandal or spectacle, defined instead by steady work, thoughtful choices, and a deep respect for his craft. While the industry around him transformed again and again, Brolin never chased reinvention for attention's sake. He moved with patience, allowing his work to speak on his behalf. That consistency, rare in a culture driven by immediacy, has become one of his most defining traits, choosing substance over spotlight. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Brolin never seemed interested in cultivating a larger-than-life public persona. He worked regularly, selected roles with intention, and avoided the churn of publicity that often consumes long careers. His success was not built on headlines or controversy, but on reliability and presence. Over time, that approach earned him something more lasting than visibility: trust. Directors trusted him, audiences trusted him, and those closest to him trusted that his priorities extended far beyond professional ambition. A partnership. Rooted in respect for more than 25 years, James Brolin has shared his life with Barbra Streisand, one of the most accomplished and determined artists of her generation. Their relationship has never been defined by spectacle or performance, but by steadiness and mutual regard. Each entered the partnership with a full life already behind them, shaped by experience rather than illusion. What they built together was not an escape from reality, but a shared understanding of it. Their bond rests on respect, humor, patience, and a rare ability to allow one another space without distance. Privacy as a shared value. From the beginning, Brolin and Streisand agreed on one essential principle: their private life would remain protected. While both are public figures, they have consistently drawn firm boundaries between their work and their home. Public appearances have always been selective, statements measured, and personal matters guarded. This wasn't secrecy for its own sake, but a deliberate choice to preserve emotional stability in an industry that often erodes it. Their shared commitment to privacy has allowed their relationship to grow without the pressure of constant observation. A life that slows when it needs to. As the years have passed, James Brolin has naturally become more selective about professional commitments. This shift has not been abrupt or dramatic, but gradual and intentional. Like many people later in life, he has learned that time and energy are finite resources, best spent where they matter most. Choosing fewer projects is not a retreat from purpose, but an evolution of it. For Brolin, fulfillment has come less from accumulation and more from presence. Character formed long before fame. Long before audiences knew his name, James Brolin was shaped by a grounded upbringing that emphasized responsibility and self-reliance. Raised in Los Angeles, he grew up observing both the promise and the discipline behind creative work. His early interests in film, mechanics, and storytelling reflected a mind drawn to structure as much as imagination. These formative years instilled in him a sense of patience and perseverance that would later define his professional life. Fame, when it arrived, did not alter his foundation, it simply tested it. Learning through rejection. Brolin's early years in Hollywood were marked by rejection, uncertainty, and long stretches of invisibility. He was told he did not fit the mold, that he lacked the right presence, that he needed to change. Rather than chasing approval, he endured. Those years taught him humility and perspective, reinforcing the idea that a career is built over time, not granted all at once. When opportunity finally arrived, he met it with readiness rather than entitlement. Success without displacement. When recognition came through television and film, Brolin accepted it without allowing it to displace his values. Awards and acclaim did not alter how he approached his work or his life. He continued to prioritize quality over quantity, relationships over recognition. This grounding allowed him to navigate success without becoming consumed by it, maintaining a sense of self-independent of professional outcomes. Meeting as equals. By the time James Brolin met Barbra Streisand, both had already lived full, complex lives. Their connection did not rely on fantasy or rescue, but on equality. They recognized one another not as icons, but as people shaped by loss, resilience, and ambition. Their conversations were candid, their humor disarming, and their bond developed without urgency. It was a meeting of two individuals who knew themselves well enough to choose carefully. Commitment without performance. Their marriage reflected the same values that define their relationship. It was intimate, intentional, and free from excess. There was no attempt to prove anything to the world, no need for spectacle. What mattered was the commitment itself, not its presentation. Over the years, that approach has allowed their partnership to remain resilient, flexible, and deeply rooted in trust rather than expectation. A home designed for peace. Together, Brolin and Streisand created a home environment that prioritizes calm and balance. Their shared space is not a showcase, but a sanctuary. It is a place where creativity and rest coexist, where routines are respected, and where silence is welcomed rather than feared. In a profession that often demands constant output, their home represents a conscious counterbalance, a place to recover, reflect, and simply exist. Presence as a form of love. As life evolves, so do responsibilities. For James Brolin, being present has become one of the most meaningful expressions of love. Presence is not passive. It requires attention, patience, and adaptability. It means listening without trying to fix, staying without being asked, and valuing companionship over momentum. This kind of commitment does not announce itself. It simply shows up day after day. Strength without noise. What distinguishes Brolin is not dramatic sacrifice or public declaration, but quiet reliability. He has never framed commitment as heroism, nor framed love as burden. Instead, he approaches it as a natural extension of character. In a culture that often equates strength with visibility, his example reminds us that endurance is often quiet, and devotion rarely seeks applause. A shared understanding of legacy. Both Brolin and Streisand understand that legacy is not confined to professional achievement. While their contributions to film and music are undeniable, they recognize that the most lasting impact is often personal. How one treats others, how one shows up in difficult moments, how one chooses when no one is watching. These are the measures that endure beyond credits or accolades. Aging with intention, aging for Brolin, has not been about retreat, but refinement. He has learned what to release and what to protect. He has embraced the freedom that comes with saying no, with choosing fewer paths more deliberately. This approach reflects wisdom rather than withdrawal, an understanding that a meaningful life is shaped as much by restraint as by ambition. Partnership as daily practice. The strength of Brolin and Streisand's relationship lies not in grand gestures, but in daily practice. Mutual respect, honest communication, and shared values sustain what passion alone cannot. Their bond has endured not because it avoided difficulty, but because it met it with steadiness rather than drama. The courage to be unseen. In stepping away from constant visibility, James Brolin demonstrates a form of courage rarely celebrated. It takes confidence to relinquish attention, to prioritize personal life over professional momentum, to trust that worth is not diminished by absence. His choices affirm that fulfillment does not require constant validation, only alignment with one's values. A legacy beyond achievement. James Brolin's legacy will undoubtedly include his body of work, but it will also be defined by the life he built alongside it. A life marked by consistency, loyalty, and thoughtful presence. His story reminds us that success is not only measured by what we achieve, but by what we protect, nurture, and stand beside when life becomes quieter and more demanding. Conclusion. The power of quiet commitment. The story of James Brolin is not one of spectacle, but of substance. It is a reminder that love can be steady, commitment can be calm, and courage can exist without noise. In choosing presence over prominence, care over acclaim, and integrity over visibility, he offers a powerful example of what it means to live deliberately. His journey affirms that the most meaningful chapters of life are often written far from the spotlight, in moments of patience, devotion, and quiet strength.